We don't always work with people we like, so what happens when a colleague is difficult to work with? How do you deal? A man who wrote a book all about it joins us.
3 hours late. What's the deal?
I was at your father's funeral.
Well, maybe that excuse would have flown when my dad was here, but I'm in charge now.
Oh, just like in the movie Horrible Bosses, we don't always get along with our bosses or our colleagues, especially the difficult ones. And the author of the New York Times bestseller, Uplifting Service, The Proven Path to Delighting Your Customers, Colleagues, and Everyone Else You Meet, Ron Kaufman, is here with us this morning. And Ron says that at some point, we're all viewed by our colleagues as the organization's difficult person. What? Not me, never.
Well, come on, it happens to all of us. And the challenge is the moment we say that somebody else is a difficult colleague, we actually make it more difficult for ourselves.
Okay, but here, I have a hard time accepting what you say, which is go to that person and ask them how you can help. But if they're giving me a hard time, why do I want to stick my nose in?
Well, if they're giving you a hard time, it's because they're having a hard time, right? If you're working with them and they're your colleague, then you actually have to work together to make the company successful, to make your job successful. So what can you do to help that person not be struggling so much, and then they'll become easier to deal with?
And so how do you approach the subject even? Because if they're having a hard time,
right,
maybe they don't want to accept your help. So how do you get over that hump?
Well, step around whether or not they're being difficult and look instead to say, what is it they're trying to accomplish? What do they want to achieve? What problem do they want to solve? How can you assist in any possible way? That's service.
Okay, and so when you're in a workplace, there's obviously someone who's in charge. At what point do you go to said person in charge and say, hey, look, so-and-so is really, you know,
but that's
giving me
point.
The business.
If you go to the other person and say, look, it's about so-and-so, again, you haven't moved forward in resolving the situation. But if you go to the boss and say, what can we do? How can we help this person get what it is that they need? Because ultimately, you need them to help you too. Inside an organization, colleagues are internal partners with each other.
You're sounding like in the Jerry Maguire movie where he's like, help me, help you.
Help me, help you.
So, okay, so now you've helped the difficult person.
Yes.
And how does that better the service that you are trying to provide within your business?
That's the critical point, especially in today's economy, because none of us can afford to have customers who look at an organization and say, those people don't get along, I'm going to go somewhere else. So helping a colleague get what it is that they need, serving them, if you will, or even uplifting the service that you provide to them, creates a better environment internally, and inevitably the customer experiences that.
And I have to imagine you have an opinion on customers. Do you believe that the customer is always right?
We know the customer is not always right. Sometimes customers are wrong, they get confused, they exaggerate, they might even lie. But a customer is always the customer. And you can make them feel right by agreeing with them about what they value.
Oh, Ron Kaufman, Uplifting Service, the proven path to delighting your customers, colleagues, and everyone else you meet. I bet there's a lot more good information in there. We appreciate your time, Ron.
Thank you, Bridget.
Great to meet you.
Pleasure to be with you.
7:45, we're coming up on that, and meteorologist Danielle Niles is standing by with another gorgeous day, Dee.
Weather brought to you by Ford. Go further.
Great tips, Ron, for sure, because it's so difficult working with Bridget every single day. Know about that one. Just kidding. In the meantime.